Even if you have never opened a Bible in your life, its contents dictate the words you speak every day. Linguist David Crystal mapped the text's presence in modern English, finding 257 common expressions originating from biblical translations. These are phrases you likely use without thinking. East of Eden, how are the mighty fallen, the root of the matter. These phrases endured because of their rhythm. The translators structured the language specifically for public reading, creating short grammatical patterns that effectively stayed in our collective auditory memory. This text functions as the infrastructure of Western language. To misunderstand it is to lose sight of the history behind our own vocabulary. Despite that deep cultural influence, the actual experience of reading the Bible is often confusing. They start at the beginning, hit a wall, and quit. That confusion usually stems from the cookbook fallacy, the error of assuming the Bible is a single, uniform instruction manual. When you read an ancient historical narrative or a poem with the same expectations you bring to a recipe, the interpretation fails. You are looking for a direct command in the passage that is only intended to describe an event. Navigating this text requires a shift in perspective. You have to stop looking for a rulebook and start learning the methods for navigating a diverse library. Writer Adam Gopnik suggests that readers have to choose a specific lens before they open the cover. You might read it aesthetically for its mythic beauty, anthropologically to understand ancient society, or as an inquiry into moral truth. Regardless of your lens, the first mechanical rule is identifying the genre. Narrative, for instance, is descriptive. When the text records Noah's drunkenness, it is reporting an event, not endorsing it as a model for your own life. This stands in contrast to discourse. These are the sections that contain direct, prescriptive teaching, passages like the sermons of Jesus or the letters of Paul that explicitly tell the reader what to believe or how to act. Then there is poetry. Biblical poetry uses highly figurative language to give voice to literal human struggles and emotions. Finally, there is prophecy. While often associated with the future, prophecy uses symbolic language primarily as a call for immediate justice and responsibility in the present. Identifying these four forms correctly is the only way to distinguish between what the Bible records and what it actually recommends. Identifying the genre is only the first step. You also have to reconstruct the historical context. These authors were writing to specific people in specific times. The early chapters of Genesis were written in the shadow of Near Eastern superpowers like Babylon. Understanding how those civilizations viewed the world changes how we read the Israelite response to them. By the time we reach the New Testament, the world has changed. It is now defined by the political norms, taxes, and social hierarchies of the Roman Empire. We use modern study tools and archaeological finds to bridge this gap, translating ancient cultural settings for a modern audience. Context turns a confusing ancient document into a vivid world that makes logical sense. When readers apply these tools, the text stops being a chore and becomes a habit. And that is where the data shows a measurable shift in personal conduct. This chart shows data from the Center for Bible Engagement, mapping how often people read the Bible against changes in their daily behavior. For people reading 1 to 3 days a week, the impact on behavior is statistically negligible. However, at the 4-day mark, the line hits a distinct statistical threshold. Engaging with the text 4 or more days a week correlates with a sharp change in reported habits. Negative behaviors drop significantly. Reported struggles with anger, excessive drinking, and pornography consumption fall by 30 to 60%. At the same time, proactive behaviors, like charitable giving and sharing faith, show an increase of over 200%. The survey data suggests that 4 days a week is the point where engagement begins to manifest as a consistent change in personal behavior. These effects remain visible whether the text is treated as scripture or as a secular study of humanism. The impact of this text is not found simply in the ink on the page. It is found in identifying the genres correctly